It's gonna be a lot of that tonight. It's that kind of game. Another blowout. Celtics pretty much win every game at this point. It's
Another
crazy.
blowout. It's old hat now. It's kind of boring. Groundhog Day. We used to say Groundhog Day for all the wrong reasons. And now it's like
Yes.
Groundhog Day again. It's another blowout. What can you do? What can you say? Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown lead the way. Tatum just looks like a man among boys out there at times. He's got this like confidence about him right now. This like attitude that personally I was waiting for all season, and it's just starting to show up over the last month or so. He's got that swagger out there, and I said it a couple of shows ago. Like opposing fans are taking notice. The oohs and the ahs. You can hear him in the crowd when he gets going, and I know in Sacramento it's probably half a crowd there because that arena wasn't exactly full tonight, but
Probably
um,
plenty of Celtics people, whether
yeah,
it's
totally.
Southern California fans or Northwest fans. There's a lot of people out there that can travel to Sacramento for a game like this. I know Peyton Pritchard had
Cheaper
a lot of
ticket than
people
the
in the crowd.
Lakers.
Yeah, so ton of Celtics fans in there. I heard Grandy talking about that too, and he was actually out there with Scal. The Celtics presence in the crowd. We saw that in Charlotte. We've seen that in a bunch of road games this year. And the Celtics now 3 games over 500 on the road. As you said, Jimmy, 15 games over 500. Remember we were doing the 500 ride for
Oh
like
yeah,
2 years,
too
and
long.
now it's not even close. They are way above 500. Yesterday they clinched the game and they clinched a better record than last season with the 41st win there, or the 42nd win rather, to go for over 500. So no doubt about it, better season than last year. And it's crazy because to start this year, looked like it was worse. The meltdowns, the defense was fine, but the offense was in the dump, and the amount of blown games that were going on was unbelievable. Don't know who's running the chat here, but it's firing away.
That's
So,
me.
oh, there you go. Jimmy doing some work late night.
Yeah, I'm just rifling through some comments, like, letting the people know that we see you. We see you in there.
So yeah, Tatum's a good place to start. Hit 7 of his first 9 from three. Kings single teaming him. Obviously, you see the plus 40. He wasn't any part of that blown lead in the third, where it got down to 9. So his defense, big part of shutting the Kings down for stretches there, as well as his offense setting a tone. I don't know how any team single teams him, and the Brown got going, so I guess maybe that's part of it. But these guys don't play a lot of minutes together, so there was plenty of opportunities for Sacramento in that first half to throw some doubles, throw some blitzes his way. They started to do that in the second half. He slowed way down, but it was way too late. They were already down 23 at the start of the third quarter there. So this is the game with him. I still think you can throw him off a little bit if you blitz him, if you make other guys hurt you. We've seen that in some recent losses like Dallas. But if you just try to guard Tatum one-on-one right now, he's in a place where he's just gonna scorch you. He's got the flamethrower out right now. I thought he was gonna go for 50 in this one, starting with 22 early in the second.
Yeah, I mean, he was on, and even when they doubled him, he was finding ways to kind of get out of that. His passing is just on another level right now. He's seeing the court, much clearer than he was to start the year, and that's really kind of unlocked him. I think that's made him more of a more confident player on both ends. The fact that he's, you know, I think not thinking as much out there. He's just kind of letting the game come to him and using his instincts. So. I think that that's translating to his comfortability on the offensive end. And like, man, every shot he takes, you just kind of think it went in. I mean, his field goal percentage tonight was unbelievable. I think I saw 12 or 15, if that's how it ended.
12 of 16,
12
yeah.
or 16. Okay, yeah. So I mean, really, like you can't ask for anything better than that. I mean, if you're that his style of play. And then we gotta we joke about not mentioning Jaylen Brown all the time, but we do have to give him his props as well because him and Tatum were kind of going back and forth tonight. And it wasn't like in a bad way. It wasn't like one guy's offense was hurting the other guy. So this was one of those games where both players were on, and I would say making each other better, which is one of our big concerns to start the season and last season was their inability to do that. It was like my turn, your turn. We said it a million times. So not the case tonight. And listen, they needed these guys tonight because the bench continues to be an issue, and I know we'll get into that a little bit later. But these are your two. This is your two-headed monster. Brown and Tatum, and you're only going to go as far as these guys take you. And tonight they took you as more than as far as you needed to go for sure.
I'm excited about Brown. He comes into this one, and I thought had probably one of his 3 to 5 best shooting games of the season, definitely his best since
Mhm.
February. He's been in this big slump to start March, missing a bunch of shots inside, missing free throws still. I don't know what's going on with him there.
Yeah.
Hard to tell. That's just a random thing that guys go through, and he's gone through for essentially his whole career, so it's not abnormal for him to be missing those, but I'm noticing that more and more. But overall, great here. Finishing shots, you talk about them connecting, start that third. Tatum threw a nice skip pass out of the double team and got Brown going downhill for the free throws. We always talk about how much are they going to pass to each other, so it's always a pleasant, not even a surprise anymore. It's just pleasant to see them working back and forth on plays like that. And Brown steady throughout, getting downhill, super aggressive early. I talk about this with him, even when he hasn't played well. He's been critical for cracking the lid off the basket, whatever phrase you want to use there when the offense is struggling. Because you went in the other night, Jimmy, that Warriors game early was a grind. Both teams not scoring, two best defenses in the NBA. And who's the one just giving the Celtics that slight edge early? It's Brown just tearing through the middle. Sometimes getting blocked in there, but getting his own rebound back, finishing in this game, and doing things like that and getting to the free throw line aggressively, even if he's not hitting them at a high rate, it's important. And there's not many games, even when he does struggle, that he's out of the picture. He's shooting a lot. He's super involved, and I'll take it, even if he's shooting a little bit worse this year, having an overall worse year statistically. Sheer points that he's given them, I think, are important. It's a big reason this offense has emerged as a top 10 unit in this new year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about it on the chat and stuff that Brown just hasn't looked as sharp lately. Something's off with him, and we're not really sure what it is, if it's injury or whatnot. But tonight was one of those games where he brought it, and he looked a lot more like the Jaylen Brown that we've seen, in I don't want to say flashes because he's been more consistent than he's been more of the productive Jaylen Brown than not. So I'm not going to say inconsistent in that sense, but I think everyone would agree recently that he's been a little off, and whether that's with the ball handling, whether that's with the shot, whether that's just looking disengaged out there at points. But I think tonight, it was one of those start to finish type nights where he got going, and again, it was like the two-man show. I mean, these guys were clearing away, the most well, I won't say clearing away because Sabonis had an unbelievable night too for the Kings, but those three players were clearly above and beyond a lot of the rest of the guys out there tonight. So